Just give it a second.
Hi, everyone. I'm Rob Beemer, the producer-director of the Mindfulness Movement. And I hope everyone enjoyed the film and are looking forward to the discussion today. This is part of the series called Stay Home, Watch Together. There's been a number of great films over the last couple of weeks, some more coming up. This has been put together by Together Films, a marketing and distribution company in the UK. So thank you to them for arranging all of this and including our film in the series. There's some more good films coming up, so you can go to their website, stayhomewatchtogether.com, to see the other films coming up. And very happy to have with me today some people associated with the film and then with a long history of teaching mindfulness. So we have Manijeh Motaghy, who's one of the executive producers of the film. Thank you for being here, Manijeh.
Thank you, Rob. It's a pleasure.
And I think we have Gail. Is Gail on? I don't see her on the screen. I hope Gail is here. Gail Soper, she's the founder and executive director of the Mindful Veteran Project. So she's featured in the film. And then we have Manijeh Motaghy, hope I said that right, of Perfectly Here. She's a certified mindfulness instructor, and Perfectly Here teaches mindfulness classes and retreats. And she has a number of great things going on during the crisis here for free or donation-based. So please check out her website too. And she's the moderator today. So I will hand it over to you, Manijeh.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much, Rob. This is such a pleasure. I think we see Gail now.
Yes, hi, Gail.
And I think we've lost Punachan.
Thank you for joining us, Gail. I did already introduce you while you were, I guess, off camera. So I hope everyone can bear with us on the technology side here.
Yes, it's so exciting really to be a part of this movement. And I remember years and years ago when I started back in the days, and it was my beginning of receiving all the benefits from this practice. I was thinking, oh, how can I put this into water, make a formula and put it into the water system of the world? And so here it is. I think it manifested itself through this movement, which started way before I did. And so here we are now. So Rob, this is really a pleasure and honor to be here today with you and the rest of the speakers here as well. Tell us what got you to start this, and what was your goal and purpose of this film? How did it start?
Sure. Well, mindfulness had a profound effect on my life at a time about 13 years ago when I was working a very stressful job, delivering a lot of documentary shows to History Channel, Discovery Channel, all those types of networks with a lot of deadlines. And I had been interested in Buddhism when I was younger and kind of came back to that and was looking into meditation and Buddhism and began practicing that again. But as I discovered the secular form of mindfulness practice, that really felt like a better connection for me, the simplicity, the scientific backing. So I really started practicing that. And then as I continued with my stressful career, and at a time where, my wife and I had 2 young kids, and, I was just losing my temper too often. And so I, really started practicing mindfulness more and found that helpful. And so then as I continued my career, I felt more and more strongly that I really needed to do something, use my filmmaking skills to do something about mindfulness, and feeling like there wasn't quite something that really captured the entire spectrum of both the personal stories and the history behind it and the key figures and all the places it's being used today, fortunately. So that this film was my passion project, and I hope people are enjoying it.
Wow, that is amazing. Yeah, what a blessing and what a gift, honestly, to record and document so much great work, wonderful work that has been done. And so, how did you meet Deepak, and how did you get him to get involved and support this cause?
Right. Well, Poonacha is the key player there, and it's funny how fate works. My wife talked to another mom at our kids' school who she knew was interested in meditation and mindfulness. And she happens, that's Lee Keckner, who's also one of the executive producers. And she said, oh, I just met this wonderful guy, Poonacha, at a conference, and he works with Deepak, and, we should talk to them. And so Lee and I met with Poonacha, and he was very excited. He can explain more about that side if he pops up. I don't see him on camera now. Hopefully he's there. And he could, tell you more about that side of things.
Yeah, well, I hope he can pop back in to tell us, Poonacha, how about your work and your connection to Deepak, and how did you get involved with the film?
So I think I'm just coming back live right now. Can you all hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, great. First of all, no, I think nothing in life is an accident. We always connect for a reason. And I think at the time, I've been working with Deepak over the last decade. And I had co-founded a startup with him called Jayo, which is to bring communities together for well-being. And I think my passion as a person was to always look at mental health. Every 40 seconds, somebody commits suicide in the world. Every 12 minutes in this great country. And every day, 20 veterans commit suicide. And mental health is a big crisis. So mindfulness has always been as one of the modalities we could do. And I think when I had the opportunity to hear from Lee, and then met Rob, and I said, this is really a great cause, because not only was Rob capturing why mindfulness was important, but what really excited us was that he was actually covering it from all different aspects of life, people from all walks of life, how it's being used. And that became really important. It doesn't matter if it's following Deepak Chopra or Thich Nhat Hanh, but how are everyday people using mindfulness in their practice? And that's what gravitated, what attracted us, to kind of collaborate with Rob on the film. And I think that's been the journey. I think our vision was to reach 1 billion people, to create a joyful, energetic body, a loving, compassionate heart, a reflective and alert mind, and lightness of being. And we believe that if we could hit a critical mass, we could bring about transformation. And that was the ethos, and that's why we were so excited to collaborate.
Wow. And I'm so personally curious and interested about the name of your organization, the Warrior Monk. How did that come?
Over the years, I started my life as an entrepreneur. I came from India, and then I was very much into success. And then over the last decade, I kind of realized that I had my own transformation, my own journey, and obviously with Deepak and well-being. But for me, I realized there were two things. I come from a family of warriors in India, and I realized the world I wanted to see was a world where no one would ever feel helpless, or no one should ever feel hopeless. And that was the world I believed that we wanted to create. And the warrior is always there to help the helpless. And the monk is always there to provide hope to the hopeless. And I believed in the world we move into, that is something we could co-create together. And that's really the warrior monk, or the yin yang of the two sides came together. And I think great warriors are great monks, and great monks are warriors, right? Yeah. So I think that became my thought.
I love it. I love it. When I work with people one-on-one, or in classes, or in groups, or with corporations, I also always look for that. I believe that we all do have it. We all do have the warrior in us, and the monk, as you're describing those two terminologies, within us. They're just being covered, laid over by, lots of perceptions and lots of experiences that may not have been very useful. So we're all trying to get that out of, help that emerge in people. Also, Gail, I see you're back. And so you work with veterans. I am so grateful about that, because our nonprofit has also tried very hard for several years to offer services, classes to veterans and first responders. And so, but now I see that you are, I'm thinking you're doing that much more substantially. I'd love to hear about that. First of all, your organization, and then how you got into this field. Yes, another
project.
Yes.
We are in the process of changing our name, not by our own choice, to Mindful Veteran Project, but we serve specifically veterans, but also active duty Guard and Reserve members, all of the family members. We work a lot with the children and the caregivers. So it's very comprehensively through the military connected population. And after being kind of a dual background in nonprofit management and wellness modalities my whole life, I was director with a number of veteran service organizations and just didn't like what I was seeing, still missing the mark, the suicide rate still increasing. And also not a lot of respect for military culture, kind of superimposing other cultures on top of it. And so I kind of did this, like, I know what it's going to take to do this, but I can't not offer mindfulness to our warriors, because I know how effective it can be. And just combining my own decades-long practice of mindfulness and teaching it with really appreciating military culture and being able to create the bridge. So it wouldn't be, oh, here's some Eastern New Age spiritual thing, that we want to do for you. And, that's once again, to be able to use terminology that's common in the military and create the bridge and find when you take down the barriers, people absolutely resonate with it. What is mindfulness if not situational awareness?
Yes.
And that's what's kept people alive on the battlefield.
Yeah.
So able to bring that in a way that people can understand and not feel it's foreign has been wonderful. And the results have been gorgeous. I mean, we don't bill ourselves as suicide prevention or, or therapy or any other banner other than mindfulness. And yet,
yes,
back saying this has saved my life, and maybe I didn't tell you in those words, but I'm able to distinguish this is me and this is an experience I'm having. This is me and this is a thought that's going through my head, and I can choose to connect to it. And it's dangerous.
Gail, if you can speak a little louder, when I'm experiencing it goes in and out a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So people are able to distinguish between an experience they're having and themselves, and choose what relationship do I choose to have with this, and not be the victim of a crazy thought or a huge emotion or physical sensation. And that is saving.
Yes, that's amazing. Yeah. The first responders and veterans, these are just terminology, words, labels. But my God, my heart has always been so in awe, in pain for other human beings who take the brunt of our fears, worries, anxieties, and then put it upon themselves. That cannot be easy. That cannot be. And we owe so much to them. And so those of us who are offering these things to them, just hoping that we could make it easier a little bit for them with so much gratitude to their service, to their courage, to their warriorshipness. Then thank you. I appreciate it. And we all do. So I just want to say, I see questions from the audience. I want to tell the audience that we will get to them. But I want to cover the basics. So probably your questions might be get answered while people, our speakers are talking. So going back to the movie, maybe I'd like to know what would have been a memorable experience while doing this for you, Punacha. What would it be? How was it doing this?
For me, I think personally, it was taking, my practice and the work we've been doing in the community onto film, right? The thing, what happens is that the camera never lies. The camera captures your soul, right? And to a certain extent, I wanted to kind of working with Rob was that how could we capture the soul and the essence and the vibration of people going through this practice? And
Ah,
that became really important because so many people, when they finish mindfulness, they always come to, how did I do, Pinacha? How was my practice? Almost like a metric, right? So for me, watching, we said, okay, how do we have people meditating and then somebody's watching and then together we raise the vibration? And I believe that was the journey of that unfolding in the film, and then seeing that translated from a concept into now reality, now getting into people's living rooms and their homes and people watching it. It was kind of a very rewarding journey. And I believe the world is getting virtualized, right? As we speak, I think we will have more connections. We are super connected, but very lonely. And
yeah.
can we use technology and content to bridge the gap? And that's really was, I think, my learning experience. Because with Deepak, obviously, Deepak did one of the largest online meditations, the Oprah Chopra meditation, right? It is one of the largest online meditations out there. And then I also worked with technology, bringing meditation and mindfulness through individual users. And now the process of doing it in a film was very fulfilling.
That totally makes sense to me. Thank you for doing that. And the same question for Rob. What were some memorable experiences? I'm sure making it was challenging and exciting. And yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, there were definitely a big variety of experiences, and it was such an honor for me to be able to go and interview, so many of the leaders of the movement with Deepak and John Kabat-Zinn, Sharon Salzberg, so many great leaders of this, and to hear their wisdom. And the hard thing with making a film is that you only ever get to put kind of a small amount of everything that we filmed in there. So we hope later on to put like a companion book together with more of the longer interviews of all of these people. But a few of the experiences that stand out, one was working with Fleet Mall at the Prison Mindfulness Institute, and where the day that we went and filmed at a prison in Rhode Island, and just the intensity of that, of having every last little bit of our gear searched and being, surrounded by guards in front of us and behind us as we're led in, through the prison yard and into the facility. But then to get there and to see, a really peaceful environment within, that where you wouldn't expect it. And these men who really were, trying to embrace this and work on themselves. And as Fleet says in the film, if we want them to be better citizens when they get out, then we need to give them a chance to work on themselves while they're here. So that was definitely a very intense experience. And, of course, there are some funny things like when we're interviewing John Kabat-Zinn, and we did that outside, and, everything was pretty quiet when we started. And then some crows came into the trees around us and kept, making all these noise. And John was saying, "Oh, don't worry. Let's just be, very mindful and zen about it." And we're having to explain, "Yeah, but John, if we're editing something in the middle of your sound bite, we can't have these crows." So, we were trying to shoo them away. And, and just things, like I said, the twist of fate of, talking to Lee and talking to Poonacha and working with Poonacha and Deepak. And then also with Jewel, the man who runs her company, Ryan Wolfington, just contacted me out of the blue. He had seen the trailer that we had up at that point while we were still filming, and said he loved the trailer, and Jewel would love to be involved. And of course, I was very excited about that. And she has such an amazing life story too, of how she was homeless and kind of had no idea what the word mindfulness was, but developed these techniques that she discovered later were, present moment awareness, mindfulness techniques, and used those to, reduce her panic attacks and to, help her get her life back on track. And obviously she's done great things from there. So, really just that ability to hear all these different stories, and even with the leaders of the movement to realize, they all started somewhere. So even someone who's world renowned now, at some point, they were going through something difficult, or, really looking for a way to push the boundaries and excel even more. So it was fun to hear those stories of kind of how they each got started.
Yeah, wow. We are just really so grateful. There are so many hundreds and hundreds of teachers and trainers and people out there doing this. And we are grateful to those celebrities or people who have resources and power to make this, bring this into the mainstream. It's very important that this has happened. So, yeah, and I watched one of those an interview you had with someone, and you talked about the prison system where you went in and just talking about how these people who can be very hostile to each other or have a violent situation, just walking into that room, into the stadium, taking their shoes off, respecting that place where they're going to go sit and meditate, just change the whole dynamic of their mind and their thinking. This is so precious, really. Thank you for all of that. And so I was going to ask Gail about her experience while being involved in the film. Yeah, tell us a little bit about that.
It was really lovely. It was really lovely because to have, a lot of people would think, how would, veterans, military culture, and mindfulness, it's like, how is this working? And to be able to be part of the film and show, I mean, we filmed our group at an American Legion post. And I mean, these were veterans from all our different groups, our Skid Row group, our vet center groups, transitional housing, a real cross section. And to have combat veterans, officers, grunts, different eras of conflict, and have a whole cross section of the veteran population all sitting around the table and doing mindfulness the way we do it, and have that included. It's like, thank you. We didn't have money to help be producers or support the film, but to have that included, to have people see it's not just for a certain segment of the population. It's not just people who can afford to go to a yoga studio or something. It's people who have been through very challenging situations and are still in them can gather and know that the groups are safe and confidential, and just walk through a practice and debrief it, even use military terms. How was that for you? Can you do this on your own at home? These are tools that empower you to participate in your own well-being and perhaps healing without assuming that you need to be healed. To have that included everyone involved was so touched.
Yeah.
Someone actually wants to hear what I think about Mindful Warrior Project. Someone actually wants to see me sitting here and doing this. And we don't meditate. I will never ask a veteran to sit cross-legged on the floor with no back support and close their eyes in a group. It sets off every possible, issue after issue after issue. But paying attention to present moment experiences, suspending as much judgment as possible, to explore with openness and curiosity without trying to fix or change anything, and simply accept the existence of whatever we find. They get it, and they were so proud to be able, to have it filmed, to have people. We did mindful eating, so people are peeling an orange, and it's just like, look, this doesn't have to be what you think. Veterans can do this, and it's not necessarily meditation. Paying attention and to present moment experiences.
Yes.
You don't have to be in an environment that's going to trigger your PTSD. Anyone can do this. It can be in any environment. And so it was an absolute joy. It was really an absolute joy and an honor and to have the little private interviews with the veterans, so they can tell their experience. This is maybe
Bless your heart. Bless your heart. I can see the joy. Yeah, this is so fantastic. Thank you so much. So I'm thinking, before I ask the question of how can we use it during this crisis, maybe I go to see some of the questions from the audiences. Okay, so somebody says, hi, Gail. Is Mindful Warrior Project affiliated in some way with the Wounded Warrior Program? Is Gail available? So that would be a question for Gail. If the Mindful Warrior Project is affiliated in some way with the Wounded Warrior Program.
I think, there we go. I'm being brought in. No, I always tease people about that. They'll confuse us. And I say, well, if we had the money that we did, you can call us Wounded Warrior Project. But no, we have partnered with Wounded Warriors. Their services are very different from ours, and we're very local. Well, we've been very local when everything was in person. Now that everything's virtual, we're connecting with people all around the world. Completely separate nonprofits. Very different mission statements, because for us, no one has to be wounded, no physical wounding, no qualifications, actually.
Yeah.
People are welcome to just join in, again, when we're in person, to come into our group at an American Legion post or at a church. We're mobile, so we're throughout the community. We try and be where it's comfortable for veterans to show up, but for anyone else as well. And so we don't have any restrictions on who can participate in our work. There's no intake. So I feel we're very complimentary.
That's great. That's great. Thank you. Thank you. I have a question for Joel and Dan Harris, but I think it could be answered by probably the other candidates. Yeah. So it says, for those featured in the movie, Joel and Dan Harris, was there a moment during which you knew that things needed to change, or was it more of a process that built over time? Basically, yeah, what was the direction always the same, or did you change anything, Rob and Punacha?
I'll let Rob answer that.
Okay. I mean, in terms of Dan Harris, there was certainly a very dramatic point where he realized he needed to change, which was a live on-air panic attack during Good Morning America, where he just suddenly couldn't breathe, and realized after that after being in a number of war zones and after engaging in some recreational drug use, to keep feeling that high that he had felt when he was in the war zones once he came back to New York. That was obviously a big wake-up call for him. And I love telling his story in the film because, he describes himself as a fidgety skeptic. So, very skeptical of anything that he can't prove, and also having a very hard time sitting still. He's very accomplished and used to doing a lot of things. And so for him, it was a real challenge to both accept the idea of sitting down and using meditation to build up a more mindful quality of attention, and, to just accept that it really could help him. And it wasn't something, as he says, for freaks and hippies and people into aromatherapy. And so he really helped us fulfill one of the main goals of the film, of, to clear up some misconceptions that secular mindfulness, you don't have to believe in any other religion or spiritual practice. It is backed by science. So it really is just a basic, based on the way our brains are wired, a basic tool that anyone can use to help increase present moment awareness, increase gratitude, acceptance, really being able to decrease anxiety and fear and just be present.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense totally. When I'm actually teaching, I also emphasize that just being present and aware and seeing things as they are is not always enough, because sometimes we need to have other skills other than just being, okay, I'm present now, there is a challenge. How do I, what words do I use? What expressions do I use? What actions do I take? So there is more practices, other teaching practices that complement and empower. You bring mindfulness to that. But so there are skills that we can learn, and not put all of our eggs in the basket of only being present and aware is enough. It's not really, I don't think that that's completely enough, but it's a very, very good place to be in order to pick up the appropriate other skills we need to have. Yeah, thank you for that. So, Punachat, go ahead.
Yeah, I was about to say that when we look at well-being, especially in these current times, we are in unprecedented times in human history. And we look at how do we improve overall well-being personally, self-care, society at large. We also know right now that for the world is doing well, the animals are doing well, the biosphere is doing well, humans are almost optional at this point. I think the world is thriving, nature. I think there's a couple of things we can do. One is nourish, eat properly, move, love healthy emotions, have a mindfulness, a mind body practice, sleep, and the sixth one is connection with nature, right? I think if we can do these six things along with the mindfulness practice, I think we can basically bring well-being in our lives.
Always, right? Yes. During crisis or past the crisis.
Yeah, it's total well-being. I think we need to take an integrative approach to this: nourish, move, love, mindfulness, sleep, and connection with nature.
Yeah. And these things are so, like, for example, you say love. It's not easy to just, you have the intention, you want to love, but somebody irritates you, right? Makes it hard to love, right? So there is a little bit more work, but the intention of loving, then setting out, how do I love when it's difficult?
I met the Dalai Lama about a year ago, and one of the words he used was compassion. He says we need to be more compassionate, karuna. So I think love is not the typical hallmark, I need love, but coming from a space of compassion, I think that can translate into love.
Right. Understanding, having a warm understanding of failure of somebody else's. Yeah. Thank you so much. Anything from you, Rob, about what can we do during this crisis? How can mindfulness help people at home?
Yeah, I hope people will check out. We put some free bonus videos in. Once you're in the video player and watching the film, you can also watch these different bonus videos. So we have a guided meditation with Sharon Salzberg, specifically about helping to reduce anxiety during the crisis. We have Diana Winston demonstrating mindful movement, as Pinacha said. It's important to incorporate that especially at this time when we're all stuck inside. And so she demonstrates how you can, combine this idea of being present and mindful, still moving and really feeling each of the movements that you're doing. So I think it's helpful both in the film and in this for people to understand that, building up the quality of mindfulness isn't just about sitting still and meditating, that, and as Gail mentioned too, there's different forms of this practice, like the mindful eating, where you're really paying attention to, each little bit and all the different sensations involved, or mindful walking, where it's like, it looks a little funny in the film, people look like zombies, but really feeling, each footstep. And then the other bonus video that we have is me interviewing George Mumford, and I'm much more comfortable behind the camera than in front of it, but hopefully, I help people, allow George to share his wisdom. And as he talked about, the combination of resiliency and mindfulness. And, an important thing that we wanted to emphasize is this idea that practicing mindfulness and building this present moment awareness isn't just about relaxing. It's about, connecting to yourself, connecting with others. So this idea that, practicing the mindfulness leads to something bigger. And as Pinacha was saying, with compassion, So this idea of starting with yourself, and really often you have to start with compassion towards yourself. Someone wondering, am I doing this right? Or why does my mind keep wandering? Oh, I'm so bad at this. And a lot of people get discouraged by that. But then this idea of all of our minds wander, that's just the way it works. And to just keep gently and with compassion towards yourself, keep coming back, focus on your breath for as long as you can. When it wanders again, gently bring it back, be kind to yourself. And then when you have built that up, then you have a better ability to be kind to others and connect more with others. And then that just gets into a positive cycle where then as you're forming a better connection with someone else, and then you're getting some of that love back, and it just builds from there. So that's part of what we were hoping to get across in the film.
Yes, yes, thank you. Yes. So how else can they watch this? Will this go on Amazon, Netflix, any other areas other than the way you have presented? Someone was asking, how else can they watch this?
Yes, in the months to come, we do hope to make a deal with Netflix or Amazon or iTunes, different places. So right now, the reason why people are just going to the website is this is kind of in place of our theatrical release, and we were just 2 weeks away from having our big theatrical premiere in New York City, and we were all really looking forward to. Punata was going to fly out, and Deepak would be there, and some of the other leaders. And we were all looking forward to, having a very fun launch to the film. Obviously, things changed very quickly. This was going to be at the end of March, and then the film was going to be in theaters over these couple of months. So we had to quickly shift to putting this online, and we felt like the best way to do it was just directly through our website. But we will be pursuing, these other forms of distribution, Netflix and Amazon, in the months to come. And, we were sad to miss the kind of communal experience of people watching it in the theater together. But we're hoping that with this crisis and with the ability for anybody in the world to instantly watch this now, that it will end up helping even more people, hopefully, than would have been possible in normal times.
Yes.
And it's been very gratifying that we've already had people in over 40 countries watching it so far, and getting nice comments and feedback from people in different. I noticed some people in different countries, and that's why part of that it's subtitled in a lot of different languages. So it's great to see that it is having an impact and reaching people around the world.
Yes, so we go with the flow, right? It's flow of change, right? So I see that there are comments on the side, maybe questions, and some of you are responding to them. But someone had a question about the Mindful Warrior project, about the veterans and their addiction, their possible addiction issues. How are they being addressed or helped? That was question for Gail, I believe, if she was available. Okay, so I guess we will go back to Gail, if you can come back and tell us a little bit about that. Otherwise, if any of you want to come back and answer the question of how could people, those who have resources or interest, help with your organizations, all of you, each of you, any of you. I guess I'm the only one here. Well, I just want to say, let's everybody take a deep breath right now. We can practice. This is a perfect opportunity. Anytime you're waiting for anything, time to practice. Be with your breath, feel your body, notice there is nothing going on but you sitting here watching, listening. That's all that's going on. So being more attentive. Hi, Punacha, you're back.
Hi there.
So So I asked
I
the
think,
question. Yeah, go ahead.
how can people contribute and support?
Oh,
I think
here
I
we
would
go.
love Gail to answer that. I think from my perspective, I think supporting the mindfulness film is obviously very important, but I would rather have Gail answer how people can support our organization.
Yes.
I could back up also. I wasn't able to get back in. So the question about addiction,
Yes.
just really quickly. Yes, an unfortunate number of our veterans struggle with addiction as a way, without other tools, of self-medicating to ease various forms of pain and suffering. And mindfulness has been very effective with that. Even walking through, when we are paying attention, what's going on in my body. So someone helping someone identify, I'm having a craving, I'm experiencing a craving. How do I know? Backing up. My stomach is churning. My hands are getting sweaty. I want to run out and do this. What else do you notice? I notice I'm feeling uncomfortable. What else do you notice? I'm feeling less than and small, the way I did when this happened, and I want to feel good. And it's like, okay, so now you've identified, besides feeling crazy, what is going on. What are some of the tools you have to deal with that? Do you choose to lose?
Maybe you can get closer to the microphone.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Do you choose to lose your sobriety and spiral down, perhaps end up incarcerated, or do you have other tools you can use? And so inserting that buffer zone of really identifying military, gathering intel, what is really happening. You can make a wise choice rather than default to a knee-jerk reaction. Instead of the next thing you know, you're getting drunk. You can taste it. What's happening? Now that I have all the information, what are all my resources?
Yes.
And again and again. One gentleman had major rage. Said, after a few of our classes, he came up and he said, Gail, because of you, this time I'm not in jail. And I said, I'd love to hear the backstory to that. He said, well, you know me with my anger issues. And I'd seen him angry once, and it was frightening. It wasn't he would get angry. He would be enraged. It was like this thing would just take him over and move him. And I always clean up his language so that I could repeat the story. He said, I was in this place, and this guy got me really angry. And this time, I noticed I was clenching my fist, and I noticed I was raising my arm. And I had enough distance to make a choice. So this time, before fist met face, he knew he had an option. And he said, the look I gave the guy could have decked him, but I turned around and I walked and I breathed and I paid attention to my feet on the pavement, and I noticed the temperature and I noticed the sun on my body, and I did all the tools we've been learning, and this time I'm not.
Yeah.
So whether it's becoming the victim of a craving or rage or a thought that tells you this is too much, go jump off the roof, mindfulness allows us to have that space to really observe, get all the information we need, and make a choice, not
Yes.
be a victim. So it's very powerful dealing with so many challenges.
Yes, yes. Well, the very amazing tool for regulating emotions and then choices. Yeah. Not allowing the emotions impact our thoughts and make them, make us react through them. That's wonderful. So the question of how can people help out, maybe we definitely will have your website. We do have your website and all the resources, but is there anything that you would love to see from the community, world community, our nation community, to be helpful to your cause?
Specifically with military connected or mindfulness in general?
Well, yeah, well, whatever that your cause is, military, I believe, yeah, or anything, yeah, anything.
I think just letting people in the military connected population know that mindfulness is not necessarily meditation. It's not necessarily a new age spiritual thing. You don't have to have money. to go to a yoga studio. All of our work is free. So to let people know that we're available. I mean, we're not a 24/7 hotline, but just short of that. We get calls crazy hours, email, website inquiries. We're incredibly available, and we partner with Vizio, we partner with veterans, we partner with all branches of the military, and we're completely confidential. So the fact that nothing gets reported either to chain of command or to, law enforcement, that it's completely safe to reach out to us and take advantage of our ability to really listen also, because that's the mindfulness tool.
Yes.
Be present with another human being.
Yes.
And not judge them, and just hear out whatever they have to share. And
Well,
either they hang up because that felt good, or they can take something further.
Thank you. On behalf of our community, our organization, I will pledge our support to your cause. Anytime we can help, our teachers will be available for you. Yeah. And I thought, Poonacha, it would be lovely if you guide us in like maybe 3 minutes meditation. Would you like to do that?
Sure. I would love to do
that. Everybody would like to just settle down and enjoy your beautiful guidance.
But also, just before I do that, maybe I want to offer one thing, just to the community, with everything what we're going through today. I think one thing we can all say that adversity affects everybody. We've seen that with what's happened, from the presidents to heads of states to the common man. What is going to be important for us in times like now is how resilient we are, body, mind, as a society. And I just say this, ABC, just 3 simple things. A is an attitude. That doesn't matter what's happening, we have a choice, the attitude. B is your belief. Doesn't matter, even today, if we believe that today we're in the deepest, darkest, coldest winter of our life, there is still going to be the spring and summer. So embrace the impermanence of everything that is going on. And C is that we always have a choice. Doesn't matter what the life is, we have a choice. So that will probably help people get through this. So maybe let's do a compassion meditation.
Thank you. That was lovely.
What everybody can do is, wherever you are, just sit down, take a few deep breaths, and let's do this. Let's take inhale to the count of 4 and exhale to the count of 4 or 6. The reason I'm asking you to exhale longer is because the moment we exhale longer, it activates the parasympathetic nervous system and lets us know that everything is okay, right? The longer the exhalation, the better we are. You can keep your eyes closed or keep a soft gaze, and keep your hand on your heart or bring your awareness to your heart center. And now as you bring your awareness to your heart center, bring into your mind's eye all your loved ones, your friends, your family, your parents, your pets, everybody, whoever you is in your mind sight right now. And let's kind of send them your energy from your heart. May you be safe. May you be happy and healthy. And may you live in ease. May you be safe. May you be happy and healthy. And may you live in ease. Now, keeping awareness in your heart, bring the focus to you. You can only love anybody else if you first love yourself. So self-care is really important. Now, bringing energy to your heart, think of yourself being held by your parents, your loved ones, your grandparents, and really send this energy from you to you. May I be safe. May I be happy and healthy. And may I live in ease. May I be safe. May I be happy and healthy. And may I live in ease. Now, keeping awareness still in your heart center, let us send this energy, albeit non-locally, virtually, from your town to the city, to the country, wherever you are, with these healing intentions. May we all be safe. May we all be happy and healthy. And may we all live in ease. May we all be safe. May we all be happy and healthy. And may we all live in ease. These are unprecedented times in human history. And together, every time we send an intention of healing to ourselves, to our friends and family, to our community, and to the world at large, we can raise the vibration. Let's gently open your eyes. And I'm very grateful to share these few moments with everybody. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Well, we have a lot of other comments, questions. I don't know how much time we have. But one of them is, does anybody know about any mindfulness organization or teachers who might be helping people with experience of domestic violence? If any of you know that, maybe we gather a bunch of resources. Are you going to, Rob, have an access to the questions and comments after we end the session?
I think so. I think this is being recorded. That's my impression. I hope.
Yeah, I mean, so maybe after the session, we can go through them and see what resources that we haven't talked about that we can maybe make available to people who joined into this session. And maybe we'll do it again another time, bring you guys back and see what the progress has been and hear what people are doing.
Yeah, I think Gail put in the comments that she might be able to comment on the domestic abuse question. Certainly important, especially during these times when everyone is at home together. And I know that the rate of that has been rising.
Yes, I saw that. Yes, I saw that. Very good. Excellent. Anything else any of you would like to add to your comments? Where is this going? Is there going to be a part 2 or? I know this has taken a lot.
We definitely will be doing other Q&As coming up in the future. So this one is specifically with Together Films and their wonderful Stay Home Watch Together series. But yeah, whenever we do more Q&As, then we will put information about that on the website right there at the top, like we put the RSVP link with this particular event. So yeah, and I guess that's one of the benefits of everyone being virtual these days is that we can, all gather together no matter where we are and do these events. So
yes.
I appreciate everyone who's listening in and everyone, Punacha and Manijeh and Gail, for doing this. Thank you.
Our pleasure, yes. So there are lots of resources for those of you who are still on, and on mindfulmovementfilm.com or just mindfulmovement.com, there are resources.
You gotta have the in there. So the Mindfulness Movement.
TheMindfulnessMovement.com. Yes, thank you for clarifying. Lots of resources for practice, for understanding, for learning. On Warrior Monk. Is there a the in front of that? The Warrior Monk or warriormonk.com and Mindful Warrior Projects. I'm not sure if that's .com or .org. I should have been more informed. Sorry about that. And then on Perfectly Here. Oh, .org. So Mindful Warrior Project.
.org.
Yes,
yeah.
.org.
And they switched their name lately to Mindful Veteran Project.
Mindfulveteranproject.org. Okay, so that would come up soon. And then perfectlyhere.org. We have a lot of resources, classes, workshops, videos, all of those good things that you can look into. Yeah, thank you so much, everybody.
Sorry, Nacha put that there is a the in his too. So the Warrior.
Thank you. I apologize. Yeah, thewarriormonk.com. Yes.
And speaking of feelings of gratitude, I just wanted to say it looks like my parents have joined. So thank you, Mom. for all of the supports and the many forms of support you've provided in helping make this project possible. Oh, it looks like Gail is back on, so maybe she could talk about the domestic abuse question.
Yes, we've done a lot of presentations at conferences. So the Association of Batterer Intervention Programs at their summits. So we're explaining how mindfulness can work in all kinds of domestic violence situations. And now that's definitely happening. People are very aware that the reports are going down because the teachers aren't seeing church leaders aren't seeing people who would normally see the abuse, aren't seeing it reported, but the incidences are going up. So this would be essential. We also work with the Institute on Violence, Abuse, and Trauma, do a lot of training there. So there's clinicians are at least getting a start in mindfulness. So either they can refer and we can be brought in to train their staff or to work with their clients. And with the contract situation, we do extend beyond military population, or they're learning so that they can perhaps help. And especially at this time when people are forced to be in close quarters with each other and don't get to let off steam in other ways. This is so important. And one of the practices we do is between two people sitting opposite each other and just observing and noticing. And we have a little phrase that they say to each other just to acknowledge each other so that you can just be with another person and really see them. We're sort of forced to do that, but we can still be crossing and not really seeing or superimposing things on other people, seeing our frustration as their fault rather than just seeing another human being who's really trying to make it through a challenging situation. So to be able to do mindfulness in this situation where everyone's locked down, to me, can definitely save lives. I would love. We do a lot of Zoom meetings where we just go through mindfulness practices of all different kinds. We can set up some more, if whoever asked that question, because it's virtual, it doesn't matter now. We could set up one where it's very geared to people being confined with each other and being able to see each other rather than taking it out on each other.
Yeah, thank you for that. That's great. And one comment I want to make is about family members. You just said your parents came on. What a delightful thing to see, really. So most of us who practice, whether teacher or just the layperson practicing, we don't get the luxury of having our family members, our children, our husband, our siblings to do this. And so a lot of people have told me that they wish that their family would do. And so I just want to encourage you to, it doesn't matter really. I've come to that conclusion of it doesn't matter. When I'm mindful over present, kind, compassionate, non-reactive, it impacts them. And they cannot be reactive anyway. They're practicing without knowing that they are practicing when we are actually being kind and compassionate, understanding, and present with them. So don't feel disappointed. Continue and deepen your own practice in any way you can. Definitely. Yeah. Any last words or other comments from Punacha?
Nothing. Lots of love to everybody. Stay safe. We are in this together. You're never alone. And the beautiful thing is that this is time we can connect. We can create a global community, and every person matters. So I think the beautiful thing about what we're going through, and there was a question on social media, technology is neutral. And the good thing right now is we can connect globally. And also shout out that Rob's parents are all the seniors. I think they're going through a very difficult time, especially now with being distant. So I think we need to do everything to be of service to them. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for that. Rob, any last comments or?
I just appreciate everyone who, has been not just interested in the film, but hopefully has become more interested in mindfulness. And thank you to Together Films for hosting this. And thank you, Manijeh, Pinacha, and Gail for participating, and I hope we provided an interesting, worthwhile conversation for everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. So everybody, please watch if you haven't. Tell others to watch, spread the word, and people who are skeptic, they don't care about it, they may change their mind after watching the film. So please do keep on spreading the word, continue doing that, because it's not something that is just age related or duration of time related. It's not a fad, it's not going away. It's really something that is useful for everybody. Thank you for allowing me to be the moderator, and I enjoyed it a lot.
Thank you. I'm not quite sure how we end this, so
Who owns it?